Okay, Coach, can we just get kind of like a series summary from you, what you thought overall of the weekend and how you guys played?
Oh, I think more than anything, it was a lot of value in being able to compete and be able to play however many innings we played. I guess we're 4 shy of 36 innings, and a lot of value in being able to go out and trying to find some rhythm and timing and see some pitches and for the pitchers to get some work in. I was really good.
For a lineup you talked about getting your rhythm, especially early. To be able to come out and put out the offensive production that they did first weekend, what does that tell you or show you?
Really, all it shows is, this weekend was a good weekend. And, each weekend kind of has a flavor of its own. You got to go earn the right to win each day. And, today I want to say our first 5 or 6 runs, I think until Nate drove a run in, you could make an argument those plays are going to be made on some days. And so but at the same time, offensively, all you can really base your success on is are you moving on the right pitches at this time? And guys are doing a good job of that.
Especially your young guys. What were you impressed about this weekend with your young guys at the plate?
They're all young. I mean, they're all in college. And so I guess Klein would be the elder statesman, right? And the rest of them are fairly young. I mean, I'm looking at it other than maybe Masters in that lineup. And so probably what I just said, I mean, the ability to separate balls and strikes and ability to be stubborn at the plate. Ran the bases at times really good through the weekend. There was also some mental lapses at times, which is going to happen over probably, especially with the double headers, many runs as we scored. I would say overall, though, you're really looking at guys, can they prepare right, put themselves in a position to have some success.
Seemed like a lot of guys played well over the weekend. How did it, I guess, compare to your expectations coming in or what you had seen in practice leading up to this weekend?
Yeah, I tell you, I mean, I would have told you Friday. I was really surprised because I thought at the same time I'd like to give their guy a lot of credit. Threw the ball really good. Houston Baptist's guy, Ruler, I think was his name. And as far as expectations go, I mean, really it's about that would be dealing with the future. This game's played in the present moment, and that's the only way to get anything done in this game. And you really try to help them the best you can trying to do that. And whatever results you get is what you get. And we try to put a big emphasis on using the physical innings and the game of baseball to get better on the mental side of it. Because the better you are there, the better you got a chance to be in the end.
What you got from the 4 starting pitchers this weekend? How closely did that look like how closely did they follow the plan, or how closely did that look like what you were hoping for going into the season?
Thought they all threw the ball good. I mean, again, you're getting them on the mound.
Because the 4 innings and about 65 pitches, was that kind of what you were wanting? That's kind of what the plan was for most of those guys?
4 innings, you're going to be right at about 60 pitches for most guys. And so, yeah, I mean, they weren't very efficient, but, when you start talking about the first 3 guys, I mean, when guys are swinging and missing and fouling balls off, you're going to have 15 pitches an inning. It's going to be hard not to. And so, really excited about watching those guys really throughout the year.
What did you think of Montgomery specifically today?
Thought he's efficient. Thought he commanded the fastball at times. Thought he gave up I think, mainly what you want to see is when you get in those moments, be able to execute a pitch. And I'm sure there was a time or two where he'd like to be able to go back and execute a pitch. But for the first outing, I thought all of them were fairly good.
How nice was it to see Jason, Nate, when they had their opportunities to drive in runs? Most of the times they did. I think they had 23, 24 RBIs.
That's a
between
big weekend. That's a big weekend for those guys, and really fun to watch them. It's proud of them. More than anything, again, are you moving on the right pitches, or are you hitting them hard, staying in the middle of the field? And they're not always going to fall. And this weekend they did.
Nate specifically, 5 home runs this weekend. What does a guy have to do to have 5 home runs in his first collegiate baseball series?
Stay out of his own way and go get a good pitch to hit and hit it and move on to the next at bat. He does a really good job with that.
Dylan Carter, a couple of RBIs today on that one ball to first base and then the bunt single. How big a element of speed to his game, or how much you think?
I guess he beat one out, didn't he? What's those saying? Speed doesn't slump, and so I guess it doesn't slump as much if you're putting it in play, right? And so it's fun to watch. Love to really get him going. Love to get Masters really going. Drew Baker, all those guys can really run. Noisy. Those guys can put a lot of pressure on the defense.
Speaking of Baker, between yesterday and today, yesterday and first at bat today, he got 3 line shots that got caught. And it seemed like he was really on at the plate without getting a lot of show for it until he had that 2-run single today.
Yeah, I think he felt the same way. I would tell you yesterday I thought the balls got in on him just a touch, and that's why they didn't find a gap. Today, the ball he lined out first pitch of the game. If you're going to move on that one, that's what we need to do. We need to hit it hard. And, for a guy, I guess probably the neatest thing about Drew is last Sunday he had 2 plate appearances since he's had the knee deal, since he had his knee scoped. And so he hasn't seen near as many pitches as these other guys. Everybody on our team had roughly 40 plate appearances going into this weekend before the season. He had 2. And so to be able to do what he did with that, tells you what type of player he is.
Some guys we talked about who are at new positions defensively. What do you think overall of how they played that first series?
Help me out here. Who's playing that
Cal, or just in general, guys at new positions, and Cal now being the shortstop, Jace now being the third baseman. I think Drew out in right field.
Those guys, it's those guys handled themselves well. They prepared the right way each day. Communication was good. We were usually a pitch ahead within, the infield and the defense as far as adjusting and stuff. And the pitchers have a lot to do with playing good defense too. When they pitch with good tempo and rhythm, really helps you defensively.
Sorry if you might have been asked this throughout the weekend, but how much of Braxton one game, Nate the other, are we going to see this season?
See how it goes. Right now that's what we're doing. As good as Nate was offensively, Braxton's as good defensively. And so Braxton can really shut down a running game. He's just not running on him. The ball's not going to the backstop. So as we get into, and so we'll see how that goes.
And then I don't know if you've been asked about this over the weekend, but Easton, kind of what's his deal and when can we see him?
Easton's not available right now.
Is he hurt, or why is he not available?
He does have a hamstring deal. Sure does.
Rumfield with 6 hits in the last 2 games. What did you think of how he looked?
He's right back there. TJ, he's got an innate ability to separate balls and strikes, to have really good quality at bats. He's aggressive. He's got bat path. False bat stays in the strike zone. Again, I don't think he would tell you that he was. I don't think he hit everything he moved on hard like a big leaguer would, but he's working on it.
You talked a little bit about the starting pitching, but you've talked in the past about the depth that you like in this bullpen. how nice was this opening series to get to see some of these guys?
Yeah, again, I mean, we kind of had to do some maneuvering there to get McMillan in the game. He gets in there and gets to throw one pitch. Kind of funny. You don't really want to do that. You don't want to make anybody sit there any longer, and you have to as far as that goes. I guess in the big leagues you wouldn't be able to do that this year.
I think 'cause
three hitter minimum, right?
No, unless it ends an inning.
Unless it ends an inning.
Yeah.
I guess I need to touch up on the rules. So, I mean, we got everybody in the game except Queen, and Queen's got as much experience as anybody we have down there. So, to get the new guys in there, I think that's really good. I think that's a lot of value in them getting in and trying to control their heart rate and execute pitches.
You don't have Dane Havlin, but you got a guy who looks like Dane Havlin to wear his jersey this year.
Who's that? Would that be Brustowski? Golly, at least he didn't dye his hair. Right?
He seemed to win over the fans real quick.
He's got a good arm. He does have a good arm. Felt like I was getting booed when he was walking off the mound. That was cool.
And Divine, as you said, had a clean delivery. And
He does. He's got a chance to be really good as a lot of these guys do. He's got an electric arm. It's unfortunate the ball went out of the ballpark. I mean, was it the first strike he threw, I think? Yeah, and so he'll always be able to tell that story. Get it out of the way.
With as many capable hitters as you have, and we've seen even in this weekend, is this something that'll ever be a set lineup, or will you be able to get creative with it just as much as you want throughout the season?
Oh, I think generally, in the past we've had 6 or 7 guys that are in there most days, and you kind of look for a matchup maybe with the other two or three. The more impact guys you have, the better off you are. I mean, if you can look at guys and they can handle right and left, and they can, go play defense, there's no doubt about it. I mean, that way kind of takes the guesswork out of it. And looking at all the numbers and all that stuff, sometimes that just doesn't work.
when do you think Marshak will be down? Will he be back next week, you think?
Golly, I would say that would be really quick, just based on looking at it. I think that'd be really quick. He's going to have to run to first.
Obviously, this
Bam,
is
bam,
a good
like he usually runs.
good start to your season. How excited now are you to kind of get these guys out of here and get them against some really, really good competition? And
Yeah,
neutral
I mean,
site?
I'm excited for Tuesday to get to practice. We've got things that, we definitely need to continue to work on. And, we had some success this weekend. Now it's time to move on and prepare for next weekend. First year of the Round Rock tournament. Some really good teams down there. Should be a lot of fun.